Welcome back to the channel where we explore, learn, and theorize about the Marvel Universe. Today I'll be talking about Big Hero 6 in the MCU, Drax having a much bigger role in Thor 4 than we thought, and 2 plot leaks for WandaVision. If you're new to the channel, or even if you've been watching for a while, make sure you subscribe because more than 96% of you guys aren't subscribed. And if you think you're subbed, double check because apparently there's a glitch where people are getting unsubscribed from certain channels. And remember that a subscription is free for you, but it really helps the channel a lot. And you can always unsub later if you want. Now let's get started. In an extremely unexpected turn of events, it's been revealed by the DisInsider that certain characters from Big Hero 6 will be making their live-action debut in the MCU. They say we're not sure who will be coming, but we can at least expect Baymax and Hiro. Some of the projects we heard about were Secret Invasion, Agents of Atlas, and Doctor Strange. However, we couldn't get confirmation. There's also no word on if the actors will reprise their roles in regards to the live-action appearances. And while this sounds insane, Big Hero 6 is actually part of the Marvel Universe, although they look way different in the comics. And in one, they even team up with the Mutant Sunfire, not to mention that Stan Lee cameoed in the animated movie as well. Next, the director announced that Dave Bautista has finished filming his scenes in Thor Love and Thunder, but it seems like they couldn't be more wrong, because Drax himself tweeted that he's still in fact in Australia. And lastly, we have 2 separate plot leaks, both of which are most likely fake, but unfortunately there's one that sounds more realistic, and if true, will make some of us quite unhappy, but they're both interesting because of how different they are. Anyway, like I always say, take anything from 4chan, and in this case Twitter as well, with a grain of salt, as it's not coming from trusted sources. But on the other hand, many things have been completely or partially right in the past, so take this with a grain of salt. The first plot leak comes from the Twitter account Avengers Assemble Brazil, and says that the next episode starts with Wanda stealing Sword's Vision body. Tony and Natasha are mentioned at the beginning. There's a flashback scene of Vision and Wanda before Infinity War, talking about being tired of running away and wanting to live in an isolated place, quoting Westview. Wanda takes Vision's body to Westview to give him a dignified funeral, but Agatha appears and manipulates Wanda to create the Hex reality. Agatha calls the Hex reality a dream, but also a nightmare. We then see one of the scenes from the first trailers with Vision in black and white welcoming Wanda, who's still in color. Returning to the present, Agatha tells Wanda that she was one of the witches at the Salem trial. Agatha says she would be killed, but Ralph saved her. However, we still don't see who he is. There are also scenes with Agatha dressed as a witch being judged in ancient times. Monica and Pietro decide to work together against Wanda and Agatha. During a fight between Wanda and Pietro, Wanda accesses Pietro's mind, and we see a scene from Michael Fassbender's Magneto, but it's unfortunately not a new scene. Pietro really is Fox's Peter Maximoff. Monica's space engineer friend is Blue Marvel. He'll be played by John Boyega in the series and will appear in episode 8 in some scenes with Jimmy. At the end of episode 8, Wanda gets rid of Agatha's mind control, and the episode ends with Hayward calling Wanda the Scarlet Witch. In episode 9, Doctor Strange appears and we have an even more intriguing participation, which is that of Professor Xavier played by Patrick Stewart. Remember that Paul Bettany said he had a chance to work with an actor that he admired a lot. We have a change in the origin of Wanda's powers, and we discovered that the Mind Stone activated her X gene. That is, in the MCU, she is a mutant. And Peter mentions the X-Mansion. Agatha ages a lot and looks like a horror movie, and this will be her look in Doctor Strange 2. Agatha struggles with Wanda, and the reality of the Hex begins to crumble. Peter and Tommy have a scene where they're saving people, just like in the Fox X-Men movies. Wanda eventually accepts Vision's death, and there's a decent wake for him. Wanda also accepts the death of her parents. We find out that the actors in the commercials are them. There's 2 post-credit scenes in the last episode. The first is an Agatha scene with Mark Hamill, who will play Nightmare in Multiverse of Madness. Hayward is a Skrull, and this is the starting point for Secret Invasion. We also see a prototype of Viv, Vision's daughter in the comics. The title of the next Spider-Man movie closes the series, and Peter Maximoff and Peter Parker will appear in the Multiverse of Madness. Nightmare and Mephisto will also appear in Doctor Strange 2, and John Boyega's Blue Marvel will have his own Disney Plus show. And lastly, Wiccan and Speed will appear again in the Young Avengers. The second plot leak is coming from 4chan, and this is unfortunately the one that sounds more realistic, but is disappointing because it has no mention of Mephisto, and says that Monica's contact was in fact Major Goodner. But even though there are definitely some great parts about it, I do hope that it's wrong. Anyway, this leak starts off by saying that Wanda didn't steal Vision's body. She left it there when she saw what had been done to it. And right off the bat you can see the differences between the plot leaks. One says that she steals him, and the other says that she leaves him there. Moving on, it says that Hayward didn't know there was another Vision until arriving outside of Westview, but he sees taking the Westview Vision as an opportunity to obtain another one for Cataract. Westview Vision is from an alternate reality. Agnes pushes Wanda to try and bring Vision back to life after seeing him in pieces at the Sword Base, but she ends up pulling one from an alternate reality. Pietro is Peter from the X-Men films. At one point in episode 5, Wanda tried to bring Pietro back, but she failed to do so. What she did instead was bring over Peter from the Fox universe. And Agnes sees the opportunity to have him act in a way she wanted to as to temper Wanda. Vision wakes up Peter before the big fight, but there isn't much time for catching up before everything goes crazy. It seems he knows that Agatha is the threat, and he knows that she hexed him. Hayward isn't anyone else in disguise, just a paranoid individual. When he said to prepare for the launch last episode, he was talking about MCU Vision under the Cataract program. He's the White Vision. Both Visions fight at the end, and Westview Vision sacrifices himself to destroy them both. Doctor Strange does show up in the end at the heat of the battle. After Westview Vision is killed along with his Mind Stone, Strange reiterates the concept that Ancient One brought up in Endgame regarding that if a stone is not brought back to its proper moment in time, chaos will ensue. And I assume this is what leads into the Multiverse of Madness. Monica's contact was just that lady. They're Skrulls, but I don't know if it was Talos' daughter. There is another classic Quicksilver scene, but it doesn't seem as long as the second one. Wanda and Agatha duke it out, and the kids just hide for the most part, but do help a little bit. Agatha does get away, and it's not explicitly said that she's Nightmare, but she does have abilities he would seem to have. Mephisto isn't seen or mentioned. Strange takes Wanda, her kids, and Peter in under his hospitality. A memorial for Vision is built within Westview. Now I have zero clue who Bettany is talking about as far as the actor he looks up to. I assume it was added later or not included in what I saw, so it's probably a very small role or cameo. Same with the post-credit scenes. I assume that they're there, but I didn't see any of them. So let me know what you guys think about all this. Would you like to see Big Hero 6 in the MCU? Are you excited for Drax and most likely Star-Lord's bigger roles in Thor 4? Which plot leak do you think is more real? And which would you like to see the most? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you'll never miss another video. Thanks for watching, and remember to wash your hands and stay safe.